Hello everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Downstream Outdoors. Today on Downstream Outdoors, we are fishing in the Little Juniata River down here in Blair County, right off of Route 453. It's a beautiful stretch of water of catch and release only, regulation trout water. There's some beautiful, beautiful big browns in here. Occasionally you'll catch a nice rainbow trout in here, but it is absolutely polluted with nice wild trout. This river in particular, this stretch of river, is ranked in the top trout waters in the state of Pennsylvania each year by noted people, and a lot of times you'll even see it in some of the top trout waters in the entire Northeast. Right here in our backyard in Blair County, we have this trout water at access to us. Now, once again, it is completely catch and release. Now, you can use any tackle here you want, whether it be bait or lures or flies, but you have to return no matter how big it is and how beautiful it is. You have to put it back. Today I'm fishing with my buddy Joe. Joe's already started out there without me, so I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do some fishing on my own. All right, what we're learning here is Joe is going to show us how to thread a minnow. It's a technique where the line actually runs through the minnow itself and the hook hangs out the back end and gives it a little bit better disguise.
All right, first off, what I usually do is I run a swivel on this end, hook it to your regular line. Then I already have a leader pre-made. Basically, that's just 2 loops in the line with a sinker on it. Make it about, I don't know what, 2 foot long, roughly. Give or take a little bit more, but first off, I put your needle on one of your loop ends.
Now you'll see he has a special needle where one of the sides of the eyelet is actually cut and notched so that the fishing line can actually hook into the needle.
And then just take your mini, stick it in his mouth, and just kind of run it down, straight down through, out the rear end of it. Pull your needle through. Then put your needle somewhere where you don't lose it, because they're very easy to lose. And then what I do is take a treble hook, just feed it through your hole there, and all I do is just take it and loop it back over itself.
Now is that about a size 20 treble hook there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then take your mini. Sometimes they slide up a little farther than they're supposed to, but just take it, feed your line back down or up, whichever way you want to look at it, and then basically hook it back up in the rear end of it, and that's it. And then when it's swimming, it looks pretty realistic, like it's just swimming out there by itself. Which you can't really see that on film, but you might get that later. But that's pretty much the basics of it.
Cool. Thank you. All right, I've decided it's time to change fishing lures. So I'm going to show you what knot I like to use. It's my go-to knot, especially for about this here monofilament line. Okay, take the end of your line, run it through the eye of your fishing lure, and then double it back. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it. And we're going to put about a half a dozen twists into it. See how it's all nice and twisted together? And we're going to take this tag end and we're going to run it down here in the loop that we made at our line, right down here at the eyelet. We're going to run that little tag like right through there. Okay, so now what we did is we made a second bigger loop. Okay, we're going to take that same tag and we're going to run that tag back through the bigger loop. and then we're going to pull this tag, and we're going to pull everything down to a nice little ball like this, pull it down like this, and then cinch everything up so that you have a nice little knot like this. Then I'm going to take my fingernail clippers that I keep, and I'm going to trim the tag off. I'm going to leave about that much left, and then that is what they call an improved clinch knot. Okay, I've been using this same knot since I was a young boy, and it has very rarely let me down, especially on this monofilament line. It's very appropriate for this monofilament line. Now this here's what we came down at here after. These real nice, beautiful browns, a nice wild trout. That's a pretty good sized trout. That's probably at least a 12 or a 13 incher. That is getting a little bit closer to what we're looking for. Ooh, he's still got a lot of fight left in him. Well, I ain't gonna keep him out of the water too long. That's enough talking about him. Let's get him released back safely into the water here. There he goes. Let's go catch his big sister. Now, as we watch Joe fishing up here, Joe's still using that minnow rig he taught us earlier in the episode. And what he'll do is he'll cast into a current somewhere and allow that minnow to work its way out of that current and into one of the current edges we've talked about in previous episodes, where them fish lay in waiting to strike on prey that's coming down through the current. As crazy as it might sound, I've always enjoyed watching fishing. Even as a little kid, I'd sit and watch it on television. I had some idols as a kid that were people that were on television for fishing. Babe Winkleman, he was a big idol. He was one of the big fishing stars on television whenever I was a kid. I loved Babe Winkleman. And even to this day, I can still sit and watch fishing. Hey, so what you got there, Joe? Hey, that's the icebreaker, right? He definitely wasn't getting off on his own, was he?
He had all three in him.
There he goes. Alright, well folks, that's about it for this week's episode of Downstream Outdoors. I want to thank you again for joining us. Once again, we were down here at the Little Juniata in right outside of Tyrone, Pennsylvania. It's a really beautiful stream. We've had a lot of fun here tonight. We've caught a couple fish, but like I said initially, we had a lot of fun, which is the important part about what we're doing here. Either way, we were going to have fun. I'm glad we had a good time. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to hear your feedback. And one last final note before we sign off this week. Remember, when you go outdoors, folks, out to these beautiful streams, to the mountains, wherever you're doing, no matter what you're doing, pick everything up that you bring in with you. Never, never leave anything behind. Bottles, cigarette butts, anything. If you take it in with you, take it back out with you, please. Let's leave a little bit better of a future for our sons and daughters. Well, till next time, keep your line wet and out of the trees.